Welcome to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 132, The Truth About Micromanagers. Welcome back, everybody. What a wild ride it has been here in my personal life and at Career Uprising over the last couple of months. I am in the process right now of interviewing a new resume writer and coach to join my team. And my husband's running for town council. I've got a 12-year-old and we just had Halloween. Needless to say, things are very busy and the business is still continuing to grow. But so if you don't know me yet, thank you so much for finding this show. You can always learn more about what I do at careeruprising.com to help mid and late career professionals find a kick-ass new job, get more confidence, change careers, whatever they need to do. I have got plenty of exciting tricks up my sleeve too for 2023. This is about the time of year where I start really getting serious about planning for how I want to go big in the next year and what I want to do differently. So it will definitely pay off to stay tuned and be in my community. So make sure you go to careeruprising.com/sign up. You'll get a free, amazing video training as soon as you sign up to join my email community. It's called the Career Change Roadmap, and it will tell you the exact steps that you need to change careers at any age, no matter how many gray hairs you might have or how young you are, really. So go on now, join my email community, sign up. Also follow me on LinkedIn. Those are the two very best ways to stay in touch with me. Definitely. It's LinkedIn and my email. Not a large social media presence for me. I won't be on Facebook too much longer. And I'm not on Twitter anymore. But anyway, so what I want to talk to you guys about today. And if hopefully I don't sound too tired. It is the end of the day for me. I'm recording in the evening, which I don't normally do, but it's just been a busy day and this was the best time that I could. So we're going to digress just a little bit today from some of the regular job search talk. And I want to come at you with kind of a different topic. I don't remember exactly where I got the inspiration to do this, but I've had it for a couple of months, probably in a coaching session with a client, talking about being micromanaged in your job. And so I thought, I haven't done a show on this yet, and I think it could help a lot of people. I know it affects a ton of people. At some point in your career or your life, you're going to run across a micromanager. So these are people who watch everything that you do or judge your work too closely or too harshly, or just don't give you the space to do your job. And I know that this would be aggravating to deal with. So I want to share with you today some insights into why this behavior is happening, because understanding is key. That is always the first step. And what you can and can't do about it. So, all right. Let's dive in. Why do people micromanage in the first place? Well, I'll tell you why. It comes down to one thing: a lack of trust. Either a lack of trust in you for some reason, or really often in themselves. So why do people have a lack of trust at work and other people? Well, they're afraid. The root of all negative behavior is fear. When we behave poorly, there is always something that we are afraid of, whether we can admit it or not. And it usually has more to do with us than other people. But here's some typical behaviors that you might encounter from a micromanager. They often don't delegate work when they should. They ask for frequent project or task updates or want overly detailed reports all the time. They might get hung up on unimportant details or just have unrealistic deadlines and expectations for you. They want to be CC'd in every email. They maybe also feel jealous or slighted if they are left out of important decisions. They just monitor your work. Maybe they even redo it themselves because it just wasn't good enough. They just feel like often sometimes in order for something to be done right, it's got to be done by them, right? I know for myself as somebody who has trained a lot of people, I really have to take a step back and not step in and do something. You don't want to do something for someone when you're teaching them how to do it, right? You want to take your hands off the wheel and watch them and let them do it. That's something I've had to learn to cultivate, certainly. But does any of this sound like your boss? Or maybe even it's you. Go ahead and raise your hand. I won't see you, right? I won't know it's you, but it's good to admit it. It could be. In most cases, micromanagers are driven by a need to control situations, and they fear being accountable for other people's work. Maybe they say that the work will be poor quality, but oftentimes that's a smokescreen, right? It's really an insecurity they have within themselves. It's their own internal fear. But here's a few possible explanations. I think in most cases, micromanagers are often under a lot of pressure from their own bosses, and they may trickle that or down to you or pass that on to you. Okay. So this can make them fearful or insecure or aggressive even to other people because they are feeling the heat from their boss. It could be more altruistic. Maybe they kind of see somebody struggling and they want to help, and they kind of take over and do things. Like I said, the example before, some people are better at just doing things rather than teaching other people how to do it. But a sign of a good leader, in my opinion, is someone who can show other people how to do it, not do it for them. But not everyone has that leadership capability, certainly. Or they just haven't learned how, as a leader, to trust other people and get out of the way, right? Like that old saying, hire good people and then get out of their way. I really believe in that. That is definitely the best way to do it. But it does take a lot of courage and a lot of trust to really be that kind of leader. And I wish there were more of them out there. I've definitely worked for some great bosses and I've worked for some terrible bosses. But there's a lot of negative implications to this micromanaging behavior. For one, micromanaging your employees doesn't allow them to use their skills to their full capacity and grow and learn. It kind of reduces them to a robot who's just doing whatever you say, a hamster in a wheel. If you want your employees to reach their full potential, you're going to have to let them make mistakes. Well, and you too. You're going to have to make mistakes, and you're going to have to let them make mistakes. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to create employees that are overly dependent on you. Ironically, then reinforcing this whole cycle of you needing to take over and do the work for them. If you don't train them and empower them and trust them, they're never going to get to the quality level that you want them to be. So you're kind of stuck in keeping yourself in that wheel of dependency. That doesn't make any sense. Micromanaging makes everyone less effective. It also makes people less satisfied and engaged in their jobs because they're not being properly utilized. Micromanaging always comes down to a lack of trust. But if you trust people enough to hire them, you should trust them to do the job. So, I'll give you a great example. I now have staff that sees the majority of my clients. I have come out of the day-to-day work with my clients, almost 75% probably, and I'm mostly running the business at this point. I had to have trust in my employees. I had to let go of the wheel completely. And that was not always easy. But it's something that I knew I had to do if I wanted to scale and grow as a CEO. And thinking about that sentence I just said, if you're going to trust people enough to hire them, that means you have to trust them to do the job. I also then only want to have clients who trust my staff, because if they trust me, they should trust the people that I hire and should not have a problem with me having them work with somebody other than me, right? Because it's been vetted through me. So there's this whole chain of trust, and this certainly applies to me as a business owner, because I have clients who are trusting me and I have staff that I am trusting as well. So I can't be a micromanager. I want to be involved and I want to be aware of what's going on in my business, but there's a difference between that and controlling everything. I don't need to be CC'd on every single email, just the most important things. That's enough. But if you don't trust somebody to do the job well, that brings up the whole nother issue. If somebody is actually not performing well on their job, that is a different issue, and that needs to be addressed in a different way. That needs to be addressed through feedback, training, or some kind of intervention. But micromanaging them is not an intervention. That is not a solution. That only perpetuates the problem and then creates more problems. So if you are a micromanager, it is okay. We love you. There is help. But the first step is self-awareness. You need to start witnessing your own behavior and noticing when you are overstepping your boundaries. Listen to the feedback you get from employees and believe them. Hear what they are saying. You might not be micromanaging intentionally, or maybe you are, but you need to be aware of how other people perceive you, regardless of your intention. Then you need to do the real work and practice not criticizing or getting overly involved as you normally do. And start small. Start practicing this new behavior with smaller, more trivial examples, and slowly get more comfortable with letting go of your level of involvement. Okay, let's take a quick commercial break. When we get back in the second segment, we're going to talk through how to respond to your boss or whomever it might be that is micromanaging you. So help is on the way if you are being micromanaged by somebody. All right, stay tuned. There's more to come. Hey everyone. While the show takes a quick break, I want to tell you about 2 ways that you can get help in your career for free. First, you can sign up for my mailing list and be a part of my community. I offer in-depth resources and solutions for your career problems. I have a free gift waiting for you when you sign up. Head over to careeruprising.com/signup and join my community today. Then join my LinkedIn group called Career Uprising Online Community. It's growing every day, and you can interact with me and ask questions about your own situation. Just open up LinkedIn now and search for Career Uprising Online Community. And I can't wait to connect with you. Let's get back to the show. All right, and we are back. So let's talk about how you can handle a situation like this when you're the one who is being micromanaged. Okay, step 1 is to always check yourself first before you confront your micromanaging boss. I am all about personal responsibility. Okay, so I want you to do a good inventory of yourself first and make sure that there's nothing else that you could be doing better in your performance or something that you could be doing to help build more trust with them, since that's really the underlying issue. Is there feedback that they have given you that you could incorporate? Is there any area of your work that could be better or more efficient, or where your communication could be more transparent? Always evaluate your behavior first, just to make sure you don't have any blind spots, because it's possible. Always evaluate your behavior first before you expect someone else to change theirs. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time because that is a huge takeaway. Always evaluate your behavior first before you expect someone else to change theirs. You don't want to be caught off guard, not realizing that you were doing something that was perpetuating this. Okay, but we all have learning moments. So think about yourself first. Second, seek to understand the other person. Sometimes it does help to reframe the situation with a deeper understanding of why the person is the way that they are. Does your boss have a high amount of pressure from their boss that's causing them to micromanage? Understanding is forgiving. Just know that underneath all of that micromanagement and aggression is somebody who is probably scared and insecure regarding their own work performance. Compassion is key. And then lastly, you may need to give them direct feedback. I know you're probably trying to avoid this, and maybe were hoping I wasn't going to say that, but nothing is really going to change unless you communicate how their behavior is affecting you, and maybe the whole team. I would start out in a casual, friendly manner and test out giving them feedback on something small, less significant, and see how that goes first. And I'm not saying that you should be passive-aggressive or beat around the bush. I want you to be direct, but I want you to pick a smaller example. This might help you to build your confidence to a larger conversation where you can then give them more significant feedback. All right, so here's a few examples of some dialogue. I love dialogue. I'm so weird like this. This is my sales training coming out from my early career. I love speaking and writing up dialogue. I'm just a verbal person in that way. So I'm happy to give that. And I always say, take it and use it. It's yours. And feel free to adjust this to your situation, of course, as needed. But here's a few ways that you could phrase various scenarios of micromanaging. Okay, you could say, I'm getting the impression that you don't trust me to meet your expectations, and I want to change that perception and reduce your stress and workload. Is there a way we can work together to increase your trust in me? That is very diplomatic and polite, very emotionally intelligent way to word that. Or you could say, I noticed you've been taking a much more active role in my workflow recently. Has something changed? Or is something wrong? Or what can I be doing better, right? Don't necessarily come at it from an accusatory standpoint. Give them the benefit of the doubt first. That always goes over better. Or try this one. The frequency of your check-ins has really been affecting my ability to be productive and meet your expectations. I was thinking if we touch base twice a week instead of daily, I could produce better results. That one's a little bit more direct, but that's how you have to give feedback effectively. You state the behavior, then the effect of the behavior, and then propose a potential solution. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. There's 3 pieces to this. State the behavior and no emotions, just factual. What is the behavior? What is the impact of the behavior? And what is a potential solution? That is the best way to give feedback to somebody in a very direct, factual, non-emotional manner. And it's going to be much better received than, oh my God, could you please stop micromanaging me? I can do the work without you. Get off my back. Right? That's what you're thinking. And I don't blame you, but that is not what we're going to say. So hopefully some of these suggestions will work for you, and you can modify them, of course, to suit your communication style, but at least take inspiration from this. And then, of course, ultimately, if none of this works, then you may have to consider whether or not you can continue to work with this person. Do you need to get another job? Can you be transferred to another department? Do you need to file a complaint with HR? What do you need to do? You might need to take further action, but if you are going to expect it to be escalated, you're going to need to have tried to solve it first yourself. Always try to solve it first. All right. And then take the next step from there. And that might be getting a new job, or just at least working for somebody else and transferring somewhere else. But there usually are solutions. Okay. Just depends on the severity of the situation, but I'll let you make that judgment call. Okay. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope that was helpful to you, definitely. And you can find all of the shows, the whole archive. I've got 133 episodes so far at careeruprising.com/podcast. Listen to all the shows there for free. You don't need an account, and it's an amazing way to just digest all of the shows that I have, because I'm continuing to crank them out pretty much every other Monday here. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much every single outlet that there is for podcasts. So, all right. I will talk to you guys soon. I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new topic. All right. Take care. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show is brought to you by inflowradio.com. The best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.